Comfortable in your chair, and maybe we'll just do a breathing together, and then I'll go and read the poem. So with three breaths together, and as you sit back into your chair and just let your shoulders drop. Keep your head up high and just take a deep breath in. And with the next breath, let it fill all the way to the bottom of your lungs so that you feel at your lower abdomen area that it's filling out. And with the last breath, when you let your breath out, just let it out in a way that allows the sound to come out with it. Well, welcome. So I thought I would start today's session off with a poem that has been around for a while, but it always hits me, and it's called Mind Blown. Oh, the immensity of what we do not know, the tongue of the ant, the message of the stars, the language of the trees, the words of fire, earth, air, and water, the speech of peoples, each contained within their own. Communication being so bordered, so fenced, we hardly fare into fullness of knowing, nor even cross the frontiers of nearest kin. Perhaps we can grow small, so neutrino small, so nothing small, that we may enter everything. And I will try and figure out how to share that with you, but it's got some, yeah, a beautiful visual that goes with it. So anyway, do we want to start there, Brandon?
Well, I heard the last word at least. Everything.
Oh, welcome, David. Yeah, so we thought we would start with the weather report that and just bringing you into the room. And Brandon, I don't know if you've put that in the chat, the instructions, but just a reminder that we'll start by raising your visual hands so that everyone kind of knows that once you've spoken, you can drop it down, but we know who to see is not there. And then you're going to use pick a word to describe your current state of being, and then a number between 1 and 10, with 1 being the lowest level of energy and 10 being high. And then 1 sentence about your weather report and what's top of mind as you come into today's classroom and start of the new year. So, and maybe raise your actual hand if you'd like to go first. Okay. All right. Well, all right. Thank you, April.
Sure.
And then you'll pass it on, right?
Yeah, sure, I could do that. All right. Weather report. I'm actually feeling a little gloomy today. But I know that there's sunshine on the horizon, and I've been working on a lot of really good things. And so that helps me to ground my gloominess. Energy level on a 1 to 10, I'm like a 6. And I think that pretty much wraps it up. I got my sentence in there. So if there's anybody else, or I'll just call you out. Okay, Corey, how about you?
Hey, everybody. Good to see everybody. Let's see, one word to describe, bit of a whirlwind. I did an excellent job over the holidays of letting all kind of work go, which I've never done my whole life. But all that advice we get to go into the dark, let the seeds germinate, blah, blah, blah. It's like I actually did that this year, and so it was fantastic. Um, So yeah, and I'm glad to be back, but things are a whirlwind from all the things I just let sit. Um, so yeah, let's see. Genevieve.
Thank you, Corey. Um, I have a sense of just kind of being. I have been resting. My kids have been gone for like 8 days, and I've been following my whims of what to do. That's been really nice. I have good energy. Um, I'm grappling with like big complicated words around regeneration and still wanting a groundedness or a shared sense making. I'm really having a hard time with that. So, yeah. Um, how about David McLeod?
Thank you, Genevieve. My word is Wellaby, which is a hint at I was on a phone call that, put on hold, and then they answer the phone right when the class is starting. Um, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 6, which is pretty good for 10:30 in the morning. And my one sentence is some kind of mix of feeling grounded but also feeling a bit overwhelmed. So I'm in the polarity of that. And I will pass it to Shapit.
Thank you, David. Um, let's see. Scale of 1 to 10, I am a 7.5, and like in enjoying this a time of like building things and having a couple of different projects that are going, uh, each with a different perspective, but all interrelated. And yeah, the building feels good right now. Danielle.
My word is fragile and for I am looking forward to working with our my Skagit Regenerate group. So that's good. And I will check in. Okay, Corey went. Claire didn't go. Claire.
Okay. Thank you. Um, I think I'm feeling a lot like what David said. I'm going to say tension between the polarities. That's my words. And maybe a 6, which is lower energy than I usually have, but I think part of it is just trying to get my energy up for coming back into work mode again. It was really good to have time down. But yeah, just feeling the tension of the world and feeling as if things are spinning crazy, and yet feeling a level of groundedness with the people that we work with and feeling as if that's where I need to put my energy. I am going to pass to Christian. Are you there, Christian? Oh, good.
Yep, I'm here. Hi. I think I'm like a solid 7. I didn't sleep much last night after the holidays, but other than that, I'm feeling pretty solid. I'm on mobile right now. Moving right now, but let's go to Brandon.
Yeah. My word for today, I think, is gray. And it's amazing after 2 weeks. I think Taya said it best when we were meeting of like, she was like, yeah, after 2 weeks, my tank is like a quarter to halfway charged. So I feel like rolling on a solid quarter to half tank, which is great and energized. So I'll say a solid 5, which is, yeah, midway between something. So that's where I'm at, and it's nice to see everybody and be back, and excited for what's coming. And I'm going to go over to Brian.
All right, thanks, everyone. Yeah, I guess my words is stormy and unsettled. A little bit on edge. I think the state of the world is a little wonky right now, and we've got a bunch of family stuff going on, elderly parents and stuff, so that's a little unsettling. My energy levels probably 4 to 5. I think coming back into this stuff is a little challenging. Lots of activity over the holidays, and then everybody's gone. Nobody in the house right now, so I'm like trying to get my bearings. Um, I have found solace in spending creative time in the studio, so that's my grounding spot. And yeah, looking forward to getting back in the groove with y'all. And I will pass it to Shaylee.
Thanks, Brian. Um, okay, my weather report is a coastal storm. That's kind of how I feel right now too. I'm sick, so my number's a 4 physically, but more for the planning stuff is probably more like a 7. Like despite everything in the world, there's those moments of brightness. So that's the coastal storm thing where it's really destructive and crazy, but then it calms down for a minute and it's glorious. And so that's kind of how I feel. I'm glad for this season of measured planning, transformative work. And I have faith that even though it's, kind of a dumpster fire in some things in the world, there's a lot of good work, like us being here, and that feels hopeful to me. So yeah. And I will pass it to um, David Ketter.
Thank you, Shaylee, and everyone. Good to be with you all. Let's see. Energy-wise, my number is about a 6. That seems to be a common number today. And I was feeling like one of our mottos in our area of subdued excitement. And so my energy is not real high, not real low, just kind of feeling, gray. And it's the right level. It feels like the right level of energy for what wants to unfold today. And what else? Yeah, just had a good break, largely away from regenerate work, but not entirely. Definitely did some things and did some reading. And so that felt good.
Oops,
and
sorry.
It looks like Asha, you haven't gone yet, right?
Hi, David. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I am feeling word motivated. I have actually more energy than I felt in all our meetings, so maybe it's just a lot of break time too. So that was good. I spent quality time with family, and I was so happy to be at a bonfire with my teammate Shaylee, and then our group was able to have a little meeting, even though it was break time, we still got together. So keeping the ball rolling. And then, yeah, a lot of projects on the home front, even though it's still pouring rain here. It's okay. And yeah, that's my weather report. So thanks. Glad to be here.
Oh, that's wonderful. And Cindy, I think, hasn't gone yet.
Sorry, I didn't see your hand raised. Cindy.
Hi. I'm kind of wet and sniffly at the moment. It's wet. I mean, it's wet and gray here, and I'm um, in a kind of a tumultuous but wonderful time of trying to move myself and be with somebody new and regenerate with our group and we've been doing a lot of re-village work even over the holidays and throughout, and so I'm feeling about a 7.
That's great. Well, thank you, everyone. That was it's just good to get a temperature gauge, and I think it seems like there's a common energy, and it's really I don't know about you, but I felt like it was actually really great to hear where other people can help lift that energy too. Yeah, so Brandon, I'm going to hand to you. Oh, Christian. Yeah.
Oh no, I was just saying yes to the lift, helping other people lift the energy.
Good. Yeah, so Brandon's going to lead us off on just doing a little bit of some updates, and then we'll go through a little bit of a retrospective and then into today's session. So yeah, so Brandon.
Yeah. Are you able to see my screen okay? Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Great. Yeah, so I don't think we have too many, or maybe we have a ton of updates. I don't know. But I did think we could start off fairly simply. And I think the biggest update that we really want to share is just a reminder that we have created and set the times for our Regenerate Cascadia Landscape Showcase event. I just sent an email out this morning with some of the links and reminders. And then Taya has also been posting updates in the Mighty Networks. So you can go find, if you're looking for any of the links, she just made a update post this morning, but also then you can go see her mega thread event update, which also has a bunch of links. The biggest updates that we want to share are that we have a Luma. So we're going to use Luma for the registration, and we have links. There's 2 links, one for February 5th, one for February 6th. You are highly encouraged to just go sign up for both, even if you're not able to make it to one or the other, though all landscape stewards and everybody is, of course, invited to both of them. And then there'll be 12 to 2 p.m. And the other big update is that we have a link created for a sign-up sheet for what day and time your group wants to go. You do not have to be specific, so if you just know that you want to go on a Thursday or a Friday, throw it up there. But if you'd like to be specific and you're like, we want to go first, that's fine too, and throw it up. Do note that we're kind of tweaking the time still. We might try to give more time to groups, so rather than 15 minutes, it might turn into 20 minutes or something. So those minor details are still being tweaked, and we're still figuring that out. But yeah, we're hoping to lock that in. And so please talk with your group, figure out what day and time works best. When you've done that, throw your information up in the Word doc.
And Brandon, I see that David's got his hand raised. I just want to, but before, just to direct you to the chat, I just put the links there to the sign-up sheet. And the one thing just to mention about that is just to make sure that you've consulted with your group that time is going to work for you as an entire group. Yeah, before signing up.
What's up, David?
Yeah, question about the timing. For some reason, I was assuming that it would be in the evening when people aren't working. and wondering what your thinking was for choosing midday.
Uh, actually,
Yeah, so I mean, pretty much the key here is that it's kind of during a lunchtime, and the way that we
Lunchtime.
do this is that a lot of the people in the audiences and the funders that we're kind of tempted to try to reach, the daytime tends to work better, and then we're trying to do it on a lunchtime break where people could make it if they could. I think one of the yeah, so we kind of went back and forth of trying to figure out do we do one in the evening, one in the morning, but we decided that having it consistent is better.
Uh-huh.
But the idea here is also that it will be recorded. So traditionally, the
Ah,
way that these events work is that probably about a third of people can actually make it live, and then the recording will be recorded and it'll be sent out to anybody who can't make it as well, so that they have it.
okay. That's
I
helpful to know. Is it? Yeah, I'm guessing that a bunch of the people who work for agencies, for example, um, probably won't be able to attend something like this midday. But if we have a recording, we can refer them to. That would be helpful. Mhm.
Yeah, and our hope is with enough advanced warning that people can make time. And a lot of times, sometimes even with agencies, either the lunch break will work or they
Yeah,
can kind of factor it in if with
sure.
enough advanced planning or notice.
Great. Thank you. That's good for me. Mhm.
And yeah, so you know we can definitely keep it open and see. Um, Yeah, I think our next update is just letting people know if you're not familiar, Taya is going to be out for the month. So it'll just be Claire and myself on our own swimming along. But Taya's done a lot of different preparation, as you'll see. So Taya's been a busy bee working all break to help kind of design the templates and the other things. And so we'll be excited to share that. And then Taya will be back January 26th and is still available if people have like questions, comments, thoughts, especially around the design deck. If you need any help or assistance, Taya is there to help tweak or answer any questions.
yeah.
Um,
I'm just saying, she said to basically, if you message through Mighty Networks, one of the team will get back to you, but she is going to be monitoring that, but may not be as responsive. So if it's something we can answer, we'll do that, or it may be batted to her.
Yeah, and then I think the next update is just, and this one comes from April, which is April has shared a really cool opportunity for a grant that I think we're looking at applying for. There will be a lot more information coming soon. I think we will probably try to put together a work group for this grant. So if you're interested, and it will be a grant for both RC, but also then the landscape group teams, but then also your landscapes themselves. And so we just thought this would be a really cool opportunity for kind of our first collective grant that we could kind of work on together. If you're interested, do let us know, and then we'll have information that we start sharing into the Mighty Network. I think we'll try to get a call together and a shared Google Drive with materials and resources and stuff. So, more information on that to come soon. And then just to say that we're kind of entering into a phase where we're not really interested in talking a lot at you. Where what we are interested in is creating a lot of shared workspace where we can really work together. Both, I think, our big focuses moving forward are going to be really on creating our presentations for the showcase event. And then really also though thinking about our invitations. And so really getting geared towards getting invites out to make this event very successful, to make sure it's well attended, whether people can attend in person or get the recordings after. We want this to be very successful. And then I was just going to share some updates of what we've been up to in the background. That if you haven't seen it in the Mighty Network, the resource section has been updated with all of our recordings. The calendar has been updated with all upcoming events. We've got Drew has been busy also adding all of our events to the front end with the idea that we want to get our website populated and refreshed and looking good by February as well so that we can really stand up to that scrutiny. And so there's not links to anything, but people can at least see how busy and active all of us have been. It's very impressive actually when you see everything that we're doing and everything like that. So starting to shift a little bit more into that communication to the external audience mode. And then also that if you're looking for the story deck templates that Taya put together, it's in our resource area. And I might stop there.
Yeah. Yeah, just to say, it was there was a little while where it was looking to the outside world like Regenerate Cascadia had just stopped. And yeah, getting the events up on the calendar, even though they're not up, it just shows what we're actually doing. So yeah. Yeah, so we thought we would do yeah, any questions about any of that? David McLeod.
I heard the word Luna in there. And can you remind me what that is?
Do you want to speak to it, Brandon?
Sure. Yeah, you'll see in the chat window there's a couple links that say luma.com/something or other. And Luma is just a ticketing and registration platform. And so it's just very simple. It's a very nice, simple, yeah, RSVP.
Mhm. Okay.
Are
Anything?
we each for the Luma, are each individual supposed to register for that?
You
Or do you
know,
want a group to register for it?
actually, right now, what we wanted to do was just to make it available to you so that you use your judgment as to who really needs this right now. In the next few classrooms coming up, we're going to be having a much stronger focus on working with that. It's just, we didn't want you to be frustrated that you didn't have access to it. So it is the invitation you can kind of do, but
Well,
we'll give more structure.
yeah. And you, yeah, for the registration for the Luma, register individually. Um, and you can also start to invite, like, think about if you have people that you know that are interested, that are already leaned in and know the work that you're doing. Feel free to start inviting them. But then, for the idea is that we want to populate it though before actually sending it out to more of like people that you might want to invite. That is more of like the cold invitation or people who aren't as familiar. So we're trying to do it internally first, get lots of signups. And make sure all of our information is correct before sending it out to the general audience. And then for your group, though, your group should sign up on the actual sign up sheet.
Yeah.
So individuals for
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
Luma,
yeah.
group for the
Yeah.
sign up. Yeah, good.
Yeah. So yeah. And there'll be chance for more questions later if needed. Yeah, so just a little bit of a retrospective of where we've come from. And I think in a way, if I don't know if any of you, this was certainly a party game when we were growing up as kids, the three-legged race and learning how to coordinate together so that you're actually able to move forward without falling over. And I feel like that's what we have been doing together is learning how to to work together. Some groups have been working together for a long time. Sometimes you've got the dynamic of a new person joining, and then there's a whole new dynamic to figure out. But all of that coordination takes a little bit of time. So I think there's been a bit of that. And then we were getting into this, who are you as a group? Your sense of identity and then the storytelling and looking at who is your landscape, who are the people that need to be reached out? Where is the value in the landscape? So we were doing kind of without going too in depth, we were using the principle of minimum viable process so that we could take the story of now, where you're at now, your landscape, not knowing that it's going to evolve. It's just a snapshot in time. And it's important to actually do a snapshot of where the starting place so that we can see where we're going. And yeah, anything else to add into that? So yeah, and then now starting to develop the story so that we can tell it well together. So there's we're getting better at doing that. And we've certainly noticed a difference in how groups are showing up and are starting to find out how to communicate, what to focus on, and yeah, there's always going to be ups and downs in that, but that there is um, a skill in being able to do that and do it better. So yeah, so we wanted to just stop for a minute. I can see your hands up, David, and I'll stop for a second, but we would love to just give a chance for any questions at this point. Not a lot of time that we'll spend on this, but just an opportunity to check in and see how people are doing with where we're at right now in the storytelling phase that we're in. But first, David.
Yeah, sorry, just a logistical thing. I clicked on both of the links to Luma, and both of them go to the same page for February 5th. But I also discovered that when I scroll partway down, there's a small print link to day 2. So I don't
Okay.
know.
Claire shared the wrong link on the second one.
Oh,
Give me a
sorry.
sec and we can get it reposted.
Okay.
And the one that you got it have in your email should have both.
Okay.
Yeah, Brandon did fix it, and then yeah. Okay. Thanks for picking that up, David. Yeah, so any questions coming up? And Brandon, did you have anything to add to that summary before we?
No, I'm just going to go find that link though and make sure it's shared.
Yeah, any questions coming up in terms of where you've been right now? Any concerns or any like positives of things that are surprising you? And it might just also be that we're, right at day one
Yeah.
of back
I
back in
think
the new
that's
year.
kind of where we're at. We've got
Yeah.
a minimal process to get started, and
Yeah.
we're just barely getting started. But
Yeah.
I did give some thought and make some notes here and there. And I think I had mentioned last time what we're doing is diving into our application and simply pulling out whatever is relevant from the application to the story deck. That's a bare minimum starting point, and then we'll go from there.
Great. Okay, well, we are going
And I
to.
see Shaylee's got her hand up.
Oh,
Yeah, I have a positive thing that I think will come up for all of our groups. As our group is just getting more clarity about the projects that we're doing and the threads to other community projects, I'm seeing just some like county and state and other initiatives that are also highlighting similar work. And I think though it's kind of overwhelming in some ways at this part, it's really encouraging. And I think it's awesome that we're creating this deck to kind of um, have a visual for how they tie together. April had something like brain map or whatever it is that we haven't looked at yet, but I think that'll be a cool tool that as we use it might help other groups too. Yeah.
yeah, that's great. I remember you bringing that up before. Did you share that in the Mighty Networks?
The brain tool?
Yeah,
I didn't, but I can. I'll put them.
I think it'd be amazing. Yeah, there's a shared resources section, and it would be amazing because I have heard that being referenced before.
I'd just like to
Brian.
echo that positiveness and kind of tie it into what David was talking about early before we started is all the floods and stuff that are happening here in Whatcom and Skagit recently are pulling all kinds of, I've seen numerous articles, different people thinking about these issues kind of coming out of the woodwork that I haven't seen before. And so how to bring them into the fold, into the light, and share their thought process and what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah,
So people to invite to the presentations as well.
yeah, it's great. Well, there's nothing like a disaster to suddenly make everything feel that's important relevant and in people's consciousness. So I know Naomi Klein talks about shock doctrine where it's exploited, but it's a principle of the useful ideas lying around in a time of crisis are what's going to be picked up and it's just it is an operating system. So Yeah, so Brandon's going to share his screen. I'm going to put a link in the drive in a minute, and we're going to walk you through um, the um, the design template that Taya has developed. But what we have done is created a um, Google Access, Google Document Access with some of those resources for each of your landscapes. I'm going to give you the link right now. And in that, you will find your own draft template, the design template for the slides, and then also a design template and oh, sorry, a draft presentation and a design template. And they're exactly the same. It's just so that you have an original copy in one of the folders and then one that you can work with and just sort of customize to what works for you. So Brandon is going to take you through that now, and I will give you access to that. So, Brandon.
Yeah. Okie dokie. And we can say thank you, Taya. This is definitely Taya has provided comprehensive instructions and for how to use this template. I think yes. So and this has been fun. So this is our first time rolling it out, and Claire and I just got to see this yesterday too. So I think it's a lot of fun. But the idea here is that we are providing a template design that can be customized by each landscape, but which maintains a fairly cohesive design or element or fonts throughout it. So you're welcome to add your own images, words, colors, and other things, and then yeah, and then we'll kind of all put it together. And so, as Claire was just saying, you've been provided a link to a Google Drive. Obviously, please don't edit other people's, don't but you can actually probably pop into other people's folders, see what they're doing. That is the sharing and the learning. And feel free to use the Google Drive folder to put your images or scripts or resources that your group might find helpful. Um, yeah, everything in here that we're about to share is a placeholder. It is done non-linearly, so we've basically just provided a lot of different templates that we hope you find useful. You are also, if you have a graphic designer or someone creating a beautiful image and you want to do a full-size thing, obviously, take it to that level. But also, if your group is just overwhelmed and tired, this is meant to be something that your group can use without having to edit a lot as well. So you'll see the first three slides, I think, are just general instructions. As Claire said, each group you have like a master template in your folder, and then you have one that you can actually mess around with and work on. The idea there is that you've got one that you don't have to mess with, but you can just copy and paste the slides in as you want to use them. But go to town. If you want to make extra copies and other things, we are hoping to have that groups will have their overall slide decks more or less ready by the 26th. That's when Taya gets back, and then Taya will work on compiling them so that we have them ready for the presentations on the 5th and the 6th, so that we can work on going through that. And then our next 3 or 4 classrooms are really geared towards time for the invitations, time for putting together the design, and then the last week will be really more focused on the scripts and practicing presentations to each other, so that we make sure that we're doing a good job. All of these instructions are in there. You've got things about the file use, image instructions, oh my, and section headers, fonts, flexibility. Any questions or you're having trouble, do feel free to let us know. Do feel free to change the color of the layouts. This is instructions on if you want to change that, how you can change the templates. But let me go into yeah, and then also just we've provided this structure, outline, and flow that we hope you'll use in a rough sense, so that we're all kind of cohesively sharing a similar structure, even though each landscape group will obviously be very unique. so again, this is not in any order, but it's more like by type. So we have title slides and section slides and bios and other things. So this is like a title, a subtitle, change the images, title block, double line, and it's really, bullet points, and it's really just geared towards what your group might need um, to use. And then you can put in your images, you can change the colors, the gradients, and all of that as you like. And we hope that you find these useful. And it's just meant to be used. You'll see some great placeholder images. Awesome. And yeah, so I think this is pretty straightforward. I think,
Yeah.
and I would just, and then also, Taya has provided different color variations you're welcome to use just as examples. And what she's done is she's actually made these like part of the background colors so that you can use it. We do recommend that you use two colors, but if you have certain colors that pop out at you or that you'd like to use, do please feel free. And Claire, yeah, any other additional comments?
Yeah, just sort of highlighting it is in the notes, but that Taya has used images, but they're just placeholder images. All of those images,
Yeah.
we would expect that you would be changing. And it's just so that this is whatever you're going to be doing for other sharing of storytelling. The reason for putting it in like this is just that it shouldn't be crimping your style. It's just meant to support and help you stay um, tell your story in an effective way. But they're going to be presentations that you will be able to take the same content and totally make your own in a different way for your own purposes. But for this, um, the design is meant to just help with the storytelling.
Yeah, I think Taya did a really amazing job. So a big thank you for working her work to do that.
Yeah. So,
Can I ask a
David,
question? Yeah, it's a small one. I'm just reading through the slides quickly, 1, 2, and 3. And the top right of slide 2, it says, please use section headers. This keeps the Regenerate Cascadia logo a soft part, blah, blah, blah. I don't quite understand that. What section headers? I don't see a logo on any of the slides. So I'm a little confused by that.
I think she might be talking about there's a little Regenerate Cascadia logo maybe on these. She might
there's
be
only
talking
a
about
couple of
this.
slides where there's a Regenerate Cascadia logo.
Okay. So
So I
do
guess
we,
I think what she's saying is this, that we have like basically just to keep it uniform. This would probably be the title slide, and then I'm going to guess that this is a section. I'm going to guess that this would probably be a section header. So like this would be the front slide, and then this might be like, yeah, story of place
would the,
or groups we're working
yeah,
with.
okay, would section header be those 5 slides in the template? Each, the from the original template you gave us last time, those.
That's a great question. I don't know. What do people think? Because we could all have like a uniform section headers. I think that, that might be nice.
I think those are meant as a guide. Like we were, hoping that you would sort of uh, the feedback that we had from that structure outline was that it was really
Mm-hmm.
helpful and helps us stay
Yeah.
um, talking about like the actual focus of this, which is where are we at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the design slides are really just meant as a
Well,
way of
I
mixing
think so.
matching.
The answer would be yes. So I think, we hope that each group would have those sections. But, I think maybe, and I think that's a great template section slide. But if your group feels like a different slide might speak better to a section shift, I think feel free to
Yeah.
use it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll think about that. And one that's come to my mind already when I was looking through the template is that I didn't see any clear place to put vision, mission, guiding principles, and things like that. I don't know if I missed something, or we should just fit that in where we think is appropriate.
Yeah, I think that, and actually what we're going to do right now is go into breakout rooms with your individual landscapes so that you can just take a look at the slides. And basically what we'd like you to do for this session is to kind of just play around with them, look at them, and see if there are any questions that are arising that we would like to just have unearthed as a group, as a larger group, um, so that we can
Yeah.
troubleshoot through
And
that.
and what I would say is like we do have like a placeholder mission and vision slide, which would be like this one. But I would also say like your group could be like, this is good, or you want to change that icon or something. Um, or you might say, actually, but we just want to do bullet points, right? And if you do that, feel free to use a different slide that you think, might be better. Maybe it's this one. Maybe that's a better slide for the vision. Or maybe this one's a
Mm-hmm.
great one for the mission and vision. Like and that's really where you should play around and figure out what
Yeah,
feels good for your group.
yeah, that sounds fine. What I was mentioning though is in those section headers that you showed a little while ago and
Oh,
the template slides, there wasn't mention in the bullet points for each of those slides, vision and mission, as far as I could see.
I would probably put that in number 4. It's like because it's almost like because basically, and if you decide to do it differently, that's okay.
Hmm. Okay,
It's really this is a part for your
sure.
storytelling. And
Yep.
what I would just say is that part of the structure and outline flow as we've structured it is to kind of model also a bioregional storytelling. So really including the place, how the land organizes. So it's like, where are we? So setting the context of where we are, what are the layers that we're really thinking about and why it matters. An homage to the regenerative network as it already exists, that we're like not coming in to replace or duplicate, but rather actually like this is the network that we're coming in service of. And then we go into the landscape group. Hey, it's our team. Here's our mission and purpose and what we're really deciding, like what we've found is important. And then it's going down into the tactical. What is our tangible focus for 2026? Oh, we're going to be doing this. We're doing movie nights. We're doing potlucks. We're doing bonfires. We're going to do a bioregional mapping in the spring. We're going to do flow funding sandboxes. Hey, and if you want to get involved, XYZ you know. So that's kind of a little bit of how we've thought about the flow. But if you're like, hey, we want to come out swinging hard, mission, vision, cool.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So I've just about finished assigning everyone to your rooms. So
And just to be clear before we go into breakouts, does everybody have access? So I think our next idea is to go into breakouts with landscape groups to actually look at this, talk about, the flow or how it's looking. We can come back later as a whole group and talk more about it at that time too. But before we do that, does everybody have access into the Google Drive and to their templates? Thumbs up? Cool. Okay.
Mhm.
Great.
okay. Just 1 minute.
Brandon and Claire, just one question or, possible idea for a next round. Um, it seems like I can get together with my group pretty easily offline. This meeting feels like a great opportunity to do some cross-pollination across other groups as well. Like having the same questions, but across groups to share information feels important in this space. I
Yeah.
wonder if we can just think about that for future meetings.
Yeah, no, that's a really great. I think there is so much learning that is actually happening when groups are surfacing. But I think that it would be good. So we've got 20 minutes in breakout rooms right now for some of those questions to surface, but then we'll have a harvest time of bringing that up. But next week is going to be a lot more working on the actual slide decks. Um,
You mean in
and
our individual groups? Is that what you mean?
when?
Like next week, like
Yeah,
we're gonna meet mostly with like Skagit Regen.
it'll be a combination.
Okay,
So
okay.
there'll be some
I
things
would
that,
rather meet in person with my people. It's not that hard. It's much easier to meet in
We
person. So here
we
I'm
just
so
take a quick.
curious. What is everyone else doing?
Yeah,
Like, I don't
and I
know
think
what
it'll
anyone else
become
is
very
doing.
important with invitations as well. Could we do a quick poll of how are people doing? Would people like a little bit of time in their own group, or would people like to stay as a big group, or would people like a breakout where we pollinate small groups but where we mix them up? Um,
Well, in Whatcom, we have a meeting together tomorrow morning, so we're already planning a meeting.
Okay.
I could definitely see the benefit of kind of bouncing some of this stuff with the whole group that's here.
I
Okay.
second that while we're all figuring it out. It might be really clarifying.
Yeah.
To just be
And
together and not go into breakout groups. So do you
well,
think
Small
that
groups might be
Claire, I think we need more input on that.
okay,
I prefer both and. I like the going back and forth, go into our breakout groups, chew on this for a while. We're going to have a meeting tomorrow, but only a small piece of that will be on the story deck. But we're going to schedule times where we can, I think, really dive into the story deck. So I think there's value in them both and.
so I am just wondering if instead of doing 20 minutes, if we did 10 minutes for you to poke around, see those slides, have some comments, um, maybe I'm just wondering if there's a way of you putting into the chat. No, you know what? Let's do 10 minutes and then come back out, knowing that you will, if you really wanted more time, then we would do that. But I think that that sounds like a good compromise. Does that sound okay with people? Okay. All right. So I will open all the rooms right now and we'll see you back here. All right. Are you going? Oh, everyone, yeah. Yeah, so what came up in your groups? And we thought rather than us being too directive, we've got some questions if we run out of prompts, but we'd love to just hear if you've got questions and sort of really let surface what anything that you'd like to share. Daniel.
Yeah, we talked about um, how we wanted to, like which tangible focus, like a specific event, I guess, that we wanted to highlight and just sort of get concrete about that.
Are you talking about the
And
the final section, like the what's to
under
come?
the flow, tangible, under the outline and flow area, the idea of tangible focus for 2026, and that we would put what that whether we were going to put like our Friday meetings or we want to do a skill share and like towards the end of the year, whether we want to bring that up in February or not. And yeah, we just wanted to have like be able to invite while we're doing it, but not overload ourselves with too much to do before then.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
And we have a lot, yeah, we met during the break too, and I'm really excited. I think all of us are really excited about getting clearer about what we want the group to represent and what direction we're going in. Yeah.
It's great. Oh, Brian got logged out and cannot get back in. Huh, that's weird. He should be able to just go back into Zoom. If you're communicating with him, Corey, he should just be able to click
I
on
think he
the.
knows how to do that. So I'm
Okay.
assuming there's a problem.
Yeah, I think probably on his end. There's nothing that should be blocking him. Yeah. Yeah, it is exciting to see, and also the inspiration from each other, I think is also helpful, seeing what other people are doing and how that's supporting the work. How about other groups?
Our group was pretty focused about how we can work together to build out the slide deck and when we wanted to, and just giving ourselves permission to start inviting people. And our plan that I think is that, anyways, our plan is that those of us who like working with slide decks can create our own individual slide decks, and then our whole group will come together and pull the best pieces out of those and make a new one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will just say, Shaylee, Brandon and I started getting really good at, we would put one presentation together for one thing and then pivot to another, and it's just, you start having like a repository of your images and your different slides that you can adapt. And so that's what we're imagining. And that's part of the reason for making sure you had the Google document area to start doing that with, because presumably you will have lots more communicating, and you can also use those to even do printed materials or other materials. Others. So yeah, just really curious about, yeah.
Is that bird okay? Like, is it injured or is it just hanging out?
It hit the window while we were
Oh,
talking,
Oh,
but it
Oh,
seems to be okay.
yeah.
yeah.
They
Wow.
typically just get stunned and are
Yeah.
best left alone to come back on their own. They'll eventually just wake up and fly away.
That's what I'm thinking. I
Wow.
was
Fingers crossed.
just waiting with it. Yeah.
Wow. It's
it's a
beautiful.
beautiful bird.
Yeah.
It's believe it or not, it's a red-bellied sapsucker.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
Good. I was wondering if
they're
someone knew what it was.
they're actually not that common. They're here, but they're not super common. So
Yeah, I've only seen a
I
few
look
of
at this
them.
one. Mm-hmm.
Thanks for sharing that moment.
So maybe just as some prompts, unless others have something that different, but just to put this in there is, what's especially coming together for you on the structure and outline or the slide decks? Is there anything that's that you can see working really well, and what might be missing, or that you might feel like there's a challenge? So.
One question I have. Oh, sorry, Corey. Did you want to speak?
I'll just say quickly, I feel like we just need to dig into it to be able to answer those questions.
Yes.
So that's, I think, why I'm quiet. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
FYI, I just got a phone call from Brian Kirkfleet, and his whole internet, he can't get on anything. He's trying to reinstall the browser. Everything is just totally messed up.
Right.
So he
Oh.
may not get back on the call in time, but he's trying.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, this is being recorded, so you can catch up there. But yeah, that's too bad. Yeah, Daniel.
How the question of how the land organizes us, that's like the big question, right? And like, so yeah, we can be really specific, we can be really esoteric, we can like there's so many options there. And
Can I give a quick example on how the land might organize somebody in a really practical sense?
Sure.
Okay. So recently I moved into this house and there's 9 acres, and I just kept saying, I really want to put this into conservation. I really want to put this into conservation because there's some really unique creatures like we just saw. There's bat population here, which is supposed to be under conservation in the state, in most states. And when I started reaching out, I realized that the conservation agency didn't have any interest in doing anything actually. And I and then just like the right people came to me, and now this 9 acres is going to go into conservation. And I believe that that's a way that the land was organizing me because it brought me right to the place, helped me to identify the creatures that need protecting, and then brought me to the people that I need to talk to in order to get funding to do this. And that because the Trail Coalition is wanting to go through here, then that has put a second layer of initiation of of a reason to conserve this land. And so again, like the land organized these people to be on this segment for all of this to coalesce. And so
Oh,
just thinking about that in a really practical way might
I,
bring it back.
I think that
Yeah,
is such, sorry.
what I would just say with that too is I think that was said really well, and it can be very practical. It can be very specific, and so part of this too is both with the context and the story of place, and then how the land organizes us and why it matters. Is really geared towards a lot of people might not be familiar with why your area is amazing. And so what are the boundaries? Why did you choose them? Is also kind of really interesting. What's Skagit? What's Whatcom? Why do you think that's a bioregional framework that's important to consider? And then what are the layers within that? And so, and that's really getting at the non-human because oftentimes, and that's the kind of what's setting this bioregional apart a little bit from like standard community or asset mapping. And so, what are those physical and natural boundaries? What are those ecosystems and inhabitants? Whether it's the river or the forest or birds or fish that we need to be thinking about. And then, why does it matter? And why do you care? And why should someone care? And so that's kind of just I think it's exactly what April was just saying. It's like what makes it special, and with the idea that people might have no idea. It's so funny. I was on a call with Ben, and he's like, what's this Skagit group? Skagit. And I love that, right? And so this is a presentation for all those people who are like, what's Skagit? Or what, anyways, yeah, etc.
I
I,
really feel
I,
that, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I really feel the weight of wanting to, the people that live here and have lived here for a long time. I want to do them proud, but I also want the other people who who don't know and it's Skagit for them to understand too. So I think it's really I take it very seriously.
Yeah. And Daniel, I think one of the things, there's a few things I want to say, and I'm glad you brought that up. Part of the reason why we feel like it's important for you to be sharing your own story. What is it that draws you into doing this work? Who are you as a team? Is that there is we don't have the answers on this, but we're giving our process of what we're doing and what we're stepping into so that it's an invitation to add to the story, to push back. And I love what you shared, April, about listening to what was coming up. So there's a careful listening because the more than human world isn't using English language to describe that. It takes another kind of language in listening. And I just want to say on a more negative note is when we don't listen to the land, it may not be the only reason why there's flooding, but a lot of the flooding is also a result of how we have run roughshod over the land. I mean, I'm thinking of Abbotsford right now, where they basically built a city in a drained lake,
Yeah.
which is just, like not paying attention to where we should be living, how we should be living on the land. And so, yeah, the land organizing the people, where as a living entity, where are the boundaries of that? So there's no right or wrong answer, but you're putting yourself in the story and telling the story from that perspective is an invitation to others to help be part of telling the story of your place so that it makes sense.
And I
And
know, oh,
yeah,
and
and
sorry, so David, before you go, Asha, did you want to, I think you had something you wanted to say.
Yeah, it's just in my brain of organization and the files that were shared to us, like that. I know the story deck. I'm going back to like the strategic mindset. Anything that we've created with our group and say like any of those like contacts of local people. I know that was part of like that mapping process. We have a couple Excel spreadsheets. We have some working docs that we would like to be able to share with you. Is that shareable if we link that to that file that you shared with us so that way you have access to all that information because that's like what we're handing over to you, correct? Just wanted to make sure that I received that in an email from you at some point, like your Google share back when we first organized this group setting, and I think I just lost that, making sure
Hmm.
that this is the same one of the Google Drive.
I I think that if you created a folder within that to put some of those auxiliary materials, but just labeling it in a way that it makes it useful, because it's also meant to be useful for you as a group. But yeah, so that those materials that are going in and that are relevant are easily at hand.
And this will probably be something that we have to work on together is we will probably continue to really create these shared Google Drive spaces as we start to get more active. And so some groups have already started to take money and give money and receive money, but that'll become much more more involved. And so as it does, we'll need to have spaces where ledgers go and budget actuals or HR things or and so I think we'll continue to build those spaces in, and we're just going on a very MVP as it's needed. What can we create? And so, and all to say that the mapping of groups out in the landscapes, I'll just say is very important. And I think that's where, like, at some point we'll want to put together a relational database, or maybe we'll do it through the website and the MySQL with the WordPress or something. But have some way that we're really can visualize the groups and the people and the teams and who we're working with in the landscapes, because that also becomes very important as we are looking for funding and I'll just say, and Claire is naming this very strongly in our personal conversations, but this storytelling is really, really important. Danielle, you're absolutely correct in that. Actually, like, we say it flippantly or it seems easy, but we have not communicated the story of Regenerate Cascadia, the landscape hub cultivator, but specifically the work that you are doing as teams and it's already happening in your landscape, and this systemic, funding flow ecosystem thing that we're building. And it's really important because there are funders and foundations all over the place and bioregional organizing teams all over the place looking for the models, looking for the templates, looking for the people doing this work, looking for examples. And they haven't seen it yet. And so this is our first kind of opening up of really like to share what we think is incredible work and that's really needed. Sorry, so that was long-winded. David, over to you.
Yeah. So back to the story deck and the original question of, is there anything coming up for you that you might be struggling with? And I don't know if I'm struggling with it, but sort of challenged by it in a good way. And I mentioned it last time, but we're telling our story of where how we've gotten to where we're at now and where we're at in this and that. But I think a big part of that story too, as I mentioned last time, is where we're going and how are we going to get there. And maybe not even, I hesitate to even say how we're going to get there, because until we really start connecting with people in the bioregion, I don't know where there is yet. And so, how do we articulate that? We're challenged to articulate that we're both fully in process and we don't know exactly where we're going, except in very broad brushstroke terms. Sounds like some of you are getting very concrete as to what you're focused on, and you've chosen specific sectors to focus on. And we've got water as the main issue here, but we also give voice to whole systems view, which means everything. So
Yeah.
and we don't even know what exact process we're going to use to sort these things out. So how to articulate this all in a way that's meaningful to funders, it feels like a challenge.
Yeah, that's great, David, for bringing that up. I think one thing I think we really like uh, you to bring in terms of the lens for right now, remembering this is the first year we're doing this, and what we're wanting to do is just basically test out a process that can be successful. We've got very limited capacity. I mean, you know what your groups are able to do. And until we build some of that capacity out, let's focus on, if anyone has a better term, please let me know because I keep wanting to use something different. But the low-hanging fruit, who are the people that we have relationships already and that have a sense of holding a larger picture that we can work with, where those relationships will not only be, we're not fighting people against their own agenda. They're already leaned into the larger picture. The people that are relationally aware and are able to actually facilitate holding community processes rather than people that are, maybe doing brilliant work, but they really are terrible at holding community. So we're wanting in the first year to really focus on where can we be most successful, but still hold a diversity of the groups. So there may be people, there may be groups that you are knowing need to be part of the conversation. They could still be invited. You're still building bridges there, but they may not be where you put all your energy right now, just because they may be a little disruptive to the success of really at the end of the day, what you want to be doing, what you want to be aiming for is a collective capacity to hold a larger conversation and to build a sense of community around this work, because that will help to amplify all of the work. It will help you build the capacity you need. If you're really sort of fragmented because you've got groups that are doing brilliant work, but they're sort of individuals and they're just, I think that can actually make your work a lot harder. So, um, yeah, so I don't know if
Yeah.
that's helpful.
Yeah, to some degree. And so I think we just need to, I was just mentioning it as something that will be a welcome challenge for us to wade into together. And I trust we'll figure it out, but it's an interesting way to go. We're so early in our process. I don't know how much funders are looking for. Have you actually accomplished something? And if so, what has it been? And they're looking for very concrete things, or they're looking for visioning, like, and do you have the capacity um, to manifest your vision, or do you understand what process it's going to take to get there? And they want to hear about that. I'm not sure. These are just thoughts going through my brain.
I I would really love to. We are pitching this to funders that can hear what we're saying. I would love to just caution us against, a lot of the time, um, the way a lot of funding has worked has actually not been helpful to
Yeah,
how we do this work. And so we are trying to create a new way of, I mean, that is happening, but flow funding, trust-based philanthropy, funding that is actually working for what's needed. And so bringing the integrity of that as opposed to, and really carefully, not wanting to continue to have breadcrumbs thrown at us. This
right.
is like we're past that right now. We really need to present what it is that we need. And so when you're putting, so in terms of community development and the work that I've done, I'm sure many of you have experienced this as well, but it is so much more less fragile to work with good team players than to work with prima donnas that are sort of the shiny people that might get the funding. And at this stage, I would say working with people who are going to help you hold this container is where I would put the priority. You do need to have enough of diversity in the groups that you're doing, and you might have to work with people that are harder to work with. But I would say focusing on where's the low-hanging fruit is a really
But
important.
And also, I mean, so David, what you're talking about is working with emergence, that's part of our model. But also just
Yep.
remember, we are building the case study for bioregional flow funding. And so we are targeting what is not working with the existing sectors. And just to like, well, we can don't, don't, and we don't want to tailor things to the fund, but what we do want to do is
Yeah.
highlight why we're doing what we're doing and why it's important. Um, yeah. And so, and do think about different foundations in your landscape, like, and
Hmm.
do point at them and say, hey, and this is why we need to do it this way, because what we're actually developing is the basis for what a landscape needs to receive large amounts of funding and flow it effectively to get it to the people doing the work who aren't being resourced right now. Sorry. And April, you had your hand up.
You just nailed it. Thanks, Brandon.
And with that, we are getting to 11:59. So I'm wondering if we want to just do a quick checkout or Claire, any last.
No, that's great. I didn't have my eye on the time, and it's really lovely to check out. So is everyone okay with that? And if anyone has to leave right away, maybe you could go first, and then otherwise maybe just start with putting your hands up and your virtual hands up.
I've
Yes.
got to run. I've got to drive to PT, but I'm really grateful. I feel like this was effective in helping us to narrow our thoughts down onto that we're writing a grant application or a story, right, for funding that tells what's not working and what we're doing to address it. Did I catch that right? Yeah. Cool.
Brilliant.
I love it.
Thanks,
Thank you so
April.
much. Thanks, everybody.
We'll reach out to you later. Yeah. All right. Oh, she didn't pass on, but I'm just gonna go, Corey, you're at the top of my screen. And then if you can pass on.
Okay.
And Cindy and Asha and James and Shaylee and Daniel and David, if you're able to raise your hand, your virtual hands, that would be also good.
Yeah, appreciated today's session. I feel energized, grounded, and ready to dig in. I'm excited about creating this next step of our story. It does feel really important. So, yeah. David McLeod.
Yeah, it's nice to have these slides and the story deck that we can start putting our content into and watching it unfold and blossom. So thanks to all of you that put that together, and including Taya. Christian.
I'm doing well. I feel like I need to move my body and that I've been sitting for too long today. But other than that, I'm doing doing great. I'll pass it to David Ketter.
Yeah, thanks. Um, Doing well. This was helpful today. And yes, kudos to Taya and others who put this template together for us. Very helpful. And feeling pretty positive about the direction we're moving in. This is ready to put the focus and energy that's going to be needed to articulate. I'm really curious what we're going to learn about each other in our group process. And I'll go to Genevieve.
Thank you. I really enjoyed hearing a little more from the other groups. That's been the most valuable thing for me. So thank you. James.
Yeah, it was really nice getting the slides and seeing the work that is ahead of us and feeling positive today.
Right. Who are you passing to?
Uh, I can't see whoever.
Maybe Cindy?
Okay. Yeah, I feel good about this. It's great to have the templates. We on the sidelines. We've been talking a lot with our group. Had a wonderful visioning time on January 1st, and we have a lot of different small bits and pieces that we've blown together that will go well into working with the new templates and ideas too. So yeah, it's all moving forward. So I'm really glad. Yeah.
But do you want to pass forward? Can you see?
Yes. Is Danielle still there?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having it all wrapped up into a nice, complete project, like on for other people to see. It's fun. It's coming back. I'll pass it to Brandon.
All right. Yeah, so I was going to close with a word of the day, and I wasn't sure what word to use, so I looked up a random word, and I like it. So today I'm going to close out with the word Panglossian. And Panglossian means extremely optimistic despite ongoing hardship or adversary. So it's to find the silver lining even in the worst of situations. Um, and used today, Panglossian often highlights hope that borders on stubbornness. And so I really like that. I feel like that is a wonderful random word of the day. And I'm going to close on that. Hope that borders on stubbornness. And I'm going to pass it to Asha.
I love that. I think some of us can be very stubborn. And that's how we get things done, right? Like our minds are here. I also like to be collaborative. So I like to be individual and also all together. So I'm looking forward to that piece of, yeah, how can we just do this together so our individual parts are actually more working cohesively together? And so we're not double doing. I always like to, I know that doesn't make sense. That word does not exist in the world, but I say this to my children or my other project people is let's not double do. Like if you already did something, let's just not double do that. Okay. Anyway, hope y'all have a good week. And I'll pass this to Shaylee.
Hey, I appreciate the focus and kind of knowing what my next steps are a little bit more clearly, and also seeing how a lot of our groups are kind of in the same boat of feeling fairly focused and like we know what we're doing, but also having a lot of questions. And so I'm grateful for what each of my team members brings to our group too. And I will pass it to someone when I can see that.
It's Shapard or me.
Okay, how about you, Claire?
Okay. Yeah, I'm always excited to hear how groups are doing and how you're responding. And it's just, I mean, it's been a dream for a long time to even see this work starting to happen. And I'm on a big high because of it. So thank you. And Shapard.
One of the things you guys are going to be seeing from Skagit is relationship first. And so we're going to be hosting another intro community call probably Monday night. So watch this space for more connection
And
activities.
you had a campfire, didn't you, before?
We had an intro call on the 23rd.
Just rounds, just checking in, getting to know each other better, getting to know relationship to project.
Well, thank you, everyone. This has been amazing. And yeah, we'll see you next week. And yeah, reach out and ask any questions on Mighty Networks. And when do we have another office hours, Brandon?
So it's every Thursday at 10:30.
Yeah.
And Shaylee, did you have a chance to go?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was typing my group about when we can get there. I didn't hear what I had a chance to go to.
No, Shaylee's been.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. The hand was up. So sorry, back over to you. But yeah, so 10:30 we'll do on Thursdays office hours if anybody has any questions or thoughts.
We still have to have our appointment with you.
Okay. Oh,
On board.
thank you.
Good check-in
Yeah,
for New Year.
we need to do that.
Yeah, if anyone hasn't, yeah, we need to get back onto that. So, all right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.